morning fog of Lay Lake. Day one of the 32nd Bassmasters Classic. Some were nervous.
I shake a little bit in the morning. A lot of it's tired nerves.
Man,
Others prayed.
And
as the day unfolded, lifelong dreams would be fulfilled.
oh, baby.
13 pounds, 8 ounces. 14 pounds and an ounce. 18.9. Folks, your leader, Jay Yellis.
But for the defending champion, his dream of repeating seemed to slip away.
I don't have anybody to blame but myself for the poor showing that I had.
Day two, another chance to snag a big one and stay in pursuit of pro fishing's ultimate goal, the Bassmasters Classic Championship. Live inside the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center. Yesterday we had just over 7,000 in attendance for the first day weigh-in. Today they're looking for between 9 and 10,000. As we are at cut day, we will cut to the best 25, and those are the ones who will fight for the Citgo Bassmasters Classic Championship tomorrow. Hi everybody, Ron Franklin, and welcome to Birmingham. And you may ask the question, why is this such a big deal to the 52 anglers? Well, I'll tell you why. The top prize money is $200,000, but when you add incentives and also endorsements, whoever wins this thing actually will be worth over $1 million. Here's the format. It's a 3-day competition, 52 competitors. We cut to 25 today, a 5-fish limit. This is what happened yesterday. Jay Yellis leading Aaron Martin's number 2. Height is 3. Todd Faircloth down in the number 10 position. And here are some notables that fished yesterday and how they did. Woo Daves, 7 pounds, 12 ounces. Scott Rook in 35th place. Mike Worm only weighed 1 fish, 13 ounces. Well, joining me again on the telecast, Jerry McKennis. We had a ball yesterday, and today is going to be even more fun as we cut to 25 and those who will fight for the championship. And you have an interesting theory about this, Jerry. The fact that they're not fighting each other out there.
We have to have a scoreboard. We have to be able to look up and see how our favorite angler is doing. But remember, these guys are not competing with each other. They're competing against the fish. They're competing against the elements. Mother Nature is a relentless competitor. As a matter of fact, Van Dam can attest to that. I'm sure he had a tough day yesterday. You know what? Kevin was out there on the 3rd cast of the day. He catches a fish, and then he spends the rest of the day trying to catch 2 more. So Mother Nature won that battle, and as I said, Kevin will be the first one to admit that. Aaron Martin's, on the other hand, boy, he had a bang-up day. He figured out where the shad were at. He figured out where the bass were chasing these shad. He really got in tune with the current, and it was good enough for about a 14-pound stringer of fish, and topped only by Jay Yellis. Jay Yellis, the same deal, boy. He figured out how to catch those fish up around the dam, and Ron, you know what? We predicted earlier yesterday, I think, that spotted bass were going to be a big player here, and 10 bass weighed in amongst the first 2 guys. 9 of them were spotted bass.
Okay, speaking of Jay Yellis, he is behind the stage right now with Tommy Sanders. Let's go to Tommy.
All right, Ron, Jay is here. He's going to weigh him in just a couple of minutes here. We're not going to get him to tip his hand yet, but last night, sleeping on the lead in the Classic for the first time, got to be a thrill.
Very much so, but I got a good night's sleep. I got in bed about 8:30 and read a couple books to my girls and got a good night's sleep, and I was on the water ready to go this morning.
Any concerns that you had that came to pass today?
Everything worked out great today. I had another good day on the water, and the conditions were very similar to yesterday, and the fish bit about not quite as good as yesterday, but they bit pretty good.
All right, we're going to see what all transpires in just a minute. He's going to weigh him in. Back to you, Ron and Jerry.
Okay, Tommy, good job of hustle right there. Now, I can't tell if that's a really confident look or a somewhat confident look. What do you think?
Well, we're going to find out. You know, he had a great day yesterday. He expected to catch those big spotted bass, but he was not thinking about a 6-pound largemouth.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. The thing that we'll concentrate on today is spot number 25, because that will be the last space. Jay Yellis and David Walker coming up next in our show. Welcome back to Birmingham. And a quick programming reminder. The last 2 days, today and yesterday, ESPN2. Tomorrow night, we switch to ESPN, and the weigh-in will be in prime time, 7 o'clock Eastern, so check your local listing. I'm dying to know what Jay Yellis has come in with, and let's go down to the stadium floor, and here's Fish Pittsburgh.
From Texas, Mr. Jay Yellis. Jay, listen, man, I'm going to tell you like it is. I got an update from the crew that was on the water with you today that around noon you were struggling.
I was, just like yesterday. I only had 4 little ones before they turned the water on, and they turned the water on, and everything started breaking loose.
He's been leading this event. After the first day, he had over 18 pounds and 9 ounces. Watch the scales for a 5-fish limit, 16 pounds and 9 ounces. Jay, look at this. We've got a big one in here. We'll call a weight. I also want to roll a little footage of you fishing today. 6 pounds and 4 ounces is the big bass. Of course, we've established a new big one. Take a look at this footage right here.
I mean, you can do it, but it's a pretty doggone good day, and about as good a day as I could ever dream to have out here.
What are you doing right here, Jay?
I think I'm crankbait fishing. In the morning when there's no current, I'm throwing a Berkeley Frenzy and a Frenzy popper. There's some schooling fish here. I'm throwing a topwater bait on those fish, I think. And I'm catching them cranking and topwater early in the morning, but the big fish don't bite till later in the day.
Like that. Still hooking.
You'll like this here, I think.
I got one. Oh, that can't be a bass. Oh, yeah, it can be a big one, too. That's an act of God right there. I just called it. Oh, he's barely hooked. Come here, come here, come here. Oh. Yes. All right. I just called it, man. That pontoon boat just ran on plane 10 feet from where this fish was at. I said, it'll take an act of God to make one bite in there now.
Looked like a jig on the end of that string.
Yeah, you got that right. I've been catching them on a Berkeley power jig. The bigger fish are biting that up in the afternoon when the water comes on. And I'm not catching a lot of fish. I caught 9 yesterday. I had 8 keeper bites today. I lost 1, but I've just been real fortunate. That bass, that 6-pounder, they didn't show that. Just a little bit of preview there. But right before I caught that fish, a pontoon boat ran between me and the bank, about 10 feet off the bank, right up the bank, right on the bank I was just getting ready to fish. I don't know what the deal was with that, but I laughed. I told my partner, I said, it'll take an act of God for me to catch one now. My very next cast, 6'4". So I guess that was. I got to thank Jesus Christ for that one, baby.
Do you remember the big fish yesterday?
Yeah, that big fish was about 50 feet up the riverbank from where I caught the 6'2" yesterday. And I had another one about 7 pounds, chased my jig out today. And there's some big ones in there. I'm not getting a lot of bites, but if they pull water tomorrow, I hope that I can catch some up there. You know, tomorrow's another day. I never want to boast about tomorrow, but I'm going to go out and do the best I can. And if the good Lord is willing and the creek does rise, I'll catch them.
Congratulations, folks. A commanding lead for Jay Yellis. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, please welcome from Cannon, Kentucky, Mr. David Walker. David, a professional angler on the trail, has been fishing with us for several years. His third Bassmaster Classic. Look out, David. believe there's 5 in there. A mixed bag.
Yeah, mixed bag. Mixed bag is right, but all good.
We're going to the scales, David. Watch this now. To take the lead, you have to have 25-10. I know that's huge, but hey, this keeps you right there. 16 pounds and 5 ounces. Folks, David Walker with that catch has moved into the number 2 spot. Oh my. We'll check the big one. How'd you catch him today?
Oh, that's the mixed bag, and I caught them in a mixed way, too. I started off catching them, and I think they're showing some video of it right.
All right, weighed 6 pounds and 1 ounce. Yellis with the 6'4". Hey, now you're in 2nd place.
Yes.
Did a great job.
That's a great place to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, last year I was in the lead, and things didn't work out for me, but I mean, I know Jay's really catching some fish, but I was looking forward to today, and things went right. I mean, every move I made was the right one, and I stayed up the river, and I got to thank Aaron Martins. He kind of put me on a way of catching some fish, and I ended up catching my biggest spot. That's a good one. The way I thought I just could fill a limit. And, so I caught that. That's the fish that they're showing right now. But I caught that fish there on the way Aaron showed me how to catch it, and then later that day I wasn't able to catch any more. I told my partner, I said, the cameraman, I said, we got to go down the lake. I said, I'm going to go flipping and see if we can't gain some pounds instead of ounces. Caught that 6-pounder, caught another one about 2.5, and I said, man, I mean, it was just, everything went right for me today.
Anything special about the lures that you're using?
Well, they're working, that's what's special.
No, any modifications you guys are making to them?
No, I mean, not really. Nothing different than I usually fish. I mean, I'm using a Lake Fork jig, and that's a Lake Fork twitch worm right there, and just kind of casting that around and then flipping my jig and just trying to find some heavy cover. But it was just, man, it was just an awesome day today, just an awesome day.
No, tomorrow we have one more day. You're obviously going on to fish. You going to fish the same strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to, but the strategy is what I'm going to fish. Maybe not the same areas, but I'm going to follow my instincts tomorrow. That's what I did today, and it really worked for me.
How many rods and reels do you have laid out on the deck?
Sometimes I'll have 7 or 8, but there's only about 3 of them that are actually working for me.
Here's the big catch right here, David. Look at this fish. You're working him around the boat?
Oh, yeah, watch this deal. It jumped right there, and I thought it might have came off because I heard it hit the side of the boat, and I run back there. And at that point, it had some grass around its face. When I first set the hook, I thought it was a mudfish because I seen how long the fish was. I said, that can't be a bass. And that time I seen the black tail on it, and I said, man, right there is a classic fish, man.
Oh, man, 25 pounds, 14 ounces. You are in the number 2 spot. Go out there and work them tomorrow.
Thanks, fish. I'm sure going to try it.
There you go, David Walker. How about that? Some big catches back to back.
Okay, Jerry, how about those two? You're sitting laughing. You're being a spectator, which is what you're supposed to be.
Oh, man, wasn't that tremendous? And you know what? With the footage we just saw of Jay, I'd like to go right to some map stuff and show you exactly where he's fishing. And we'll start from Elliott Island all the way up to the dam and right along these banks here. And even out in the open part of the lake, that is where Jay and Aaron Martins are doing a lot of the angling. Now, things are pretty dead up there for hour after hour after hour, and then bam, they turn the water on, and as Jay said, the creek goes to rising and things happen. Shad keep popping up around, the stripers start. Hey, and the one thing I really want to do is ask the spectators to stay way back, be very respectful for these guys. And as a matter of fact, it's very, very dangerous up there. Don't run into anything.
Be careful. Rocks all over the place. Well, they shut the water off on me in that dam, so I gotta go to a different spot. This spot's only good when the water's on, and I'm gonna go down. Yeah, they just shut it off. They weren't supposed to shut it off till 8. They said 7 to 8 they'd have it on.
So, we just saw 2 catches in the last 5 minutes, as dramatic as anything that we will see from
Is it over?
On the Bassmasters Classic. We're going to go to a break right now. Let's take a look at the leaderboard as it stands. Jay Yellis, 35 pounds, 2 ounces. David Walker, 25 of 14. Back with more of day 2 after we pause for this. And welcome back to Birmingham. Day 2 as we cut to 25. And just looking at the schedule here, Gary Yamamoto is about to come to the stage here in just a moment and weigh in. And Jerry, this is a guy, he's not just a professional angler. This guy is very accomplished at several things we have found out.
What a guy, Gary Yamamoto. He's an excellent fisherman. We know that. He produces a lure that, you know, is sweeping the country, a Cinco. But guess what, Ron? He's one of the most powerful cattle ranchers in the country. Can you believe that? Has 10 cattle ranches in Texas. He's such a wonderful man, and it's so interesting to watch him fish. He just seems so, he almost puts you to sleep. And don't take that the wrong way, Gary. He's so methodical and slow, and everything is in the same motion, and he really focuses on what he's doing, and thus has become an extremely great bass fisherman. He has lived over in the United States for many years, but you know what, Ron? He is like the king in Japan. So I'm glad we got a minute to talk about Gary Yamamoto, because he's a great guy.
You know, in college football, we call it taking the headgear off a player to let you know more about it. Right. This young man right here, very accomplished. You wouldn't know this quiet, humble guy is a multimillionaire.
That's right.
He has accomplished a lot. Beverly, his wife, in attendance, always in his corner. Let's go down to fish and see how Gary has done today.
Folks, let's welcome from Mineola, Texas, Gary Yamamoto. Fishing his second Bassmasters Classic, ranked 11th on the tour this season with the Bassmasters, and he is a bait manufacturer. He told us yesterday he used a couple of those lures to catch the fish that had him in the top 5. Congratulations on a great catch today.
Thank you. I did the same thing, the same lures.
Same thing, Cinco, and you also used a little bit of that drop shot technique. Here we go, Gary. This is going to keep you up there for the lead. 10 pounds. 8 ounces, 10-8. It's going to keep you right there. Pick up one of these bass. Show them to me. Gary Yamamoto's making the top 25 for sure. And oh, buddy, that drop shot technique that came all the way from Japan, it hit the West Coast. A lot of the anglers in the East have adopted it. Where are you going?
I was going home.
You ain't leaving yet. You're going to give us some information.
Well, I had a tough day, except for the first cast. First couple of casts, I got that 3.5-pound fish, and then it dried up for about 2.5 hours, and I struggled and struggled and struggled.
Take a look at my big screen up here. Can you tell us what you're doing right there? Looks like you got one.
Something's coming in the boat.
Man, you didn't have him on long. You just gave him the old...
Oh, that's the big one. That was about probably 20 minutes into the day, and that's when it dried up.
I picked up the line and said,
you're doing something there.
Something's wrong. Woohoo! That's the way to start off.
All right.
I don't know what I was doing.
You did a great job. Now, is the Cinco catching more fish or bigger fish?
Well, I guess I caught most of them on the Cinco. I probably kept one on the drop shot, but I had an audience for about 5 or 6, no, maybe half an hour, when I pulled up about 5 drop shot fish right after the other, so they enjoyed it.
Great effort today. Good luck tomorrow. Gary Yamamoto.
So congratulations to Gary in double figures today, 10 pounds and 8 ounces to stay in the heat of the battle. Coming up next, a veteran of the wars, fellow who is fishing in his 24th Classic. He won it in '83. Let's look at Larry Nixon. Larry Nixon is a man on a mission. Last year, he crowned a series of dismal seasons by failing to make the Classic. He's second on the all-time win list with 14. One of those was a Classic victory, 1983. Once again, he's healthy after battling tendonitis, but for this Classic, he says it isn't about money. I have something to prove more to myself than anyone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from B Branch, Arkansas, Mr. Larry Nixon. 23 Bassmasters Classics under his belt, a two-time Angler of the Year, and the 1983 Bassmasters Classic champ. Larry, I know they had the cameras on you today.
Yeah, they was bugging me all day out there trying to get me to catch a big bass, and I just couldn't find one.
You did a great job. This is going to move you way up.
Well, I wanted to catch a good string of fish. I really wanted to catch a big string. You know how that goes, but I'll tell you, it's kind of tough out there, and you just fish and do the best you can.
Got a good weight for you coming up right now. And Larry, I would like for you to touch on some of the techniques and baits that you used. 8 pounds, 8 ounces.
Thank you very much, people. It's a great crowd for a Friday. I'll tell you, this is a tremendous crowd. Really, I was flipping tubes in the grass, and what am I supposed to be looking at here? Oh, you watch. Yeah, I was flipping tube baits in the grass and power worms, and about 10 o'clock, I tell you, I run into a dry spell. I hadn't had a bite in about 4 hours, and I picked up a frog and started fishing some scattered grass, and I caught 2 just as fast as I could catch them, and then I did that for about 2 or 3 hours and couldn't get any more bites, so I went back to pitching and wound up catching 3 more keepers.
A lot of fish living in that grass. How do you determine which grass is better?
Well, there's always a different characteristic of a grass bed that makes it better. Either as deep water comes in close to the edge of it, or maybe a scattered donut-type shell around the area. What I mean by that is an open area in behind the grass line. You need a place for bass to move around and chase food, and you just have to fish a lot of grass till you figure all that out, fish.
Now, did you do that in practice? You had 1 week. They were here June the 24th through the 29th. Did you just go out there and search and search and search in that grass?
I pretty much made up my mind that I was going to fish grass in this tournament because I felt like that would be my best chance to win. I'm not a big crankbait fisherman, and spotted bass have never done me right. They've always treated me kind of dirty over the years, and if I catch them, that's good, but if I go fishing for them, they treat me wrong, so I'd rather fish for largemouth.
Super job. Great effort. Larry Nixon, ladies and gentlemen.
What a great chance. So we're still looking for the top 25 anglers who will fish for the championship tomorrow. Coming up, last time he won it, 1974, but yesterday he looked like a classic again. Tommy Martin next up on the Citgo Bassmasters Classic.
All right, the man with the most consecutive classic appearances, Rick Plunn, that ended this year. The 2 folks with the best shot at catching that record that have the current classic runs going are our leader right now. Of course, that's Jay Ellis, and this man right here, Kevin Van Dam. Kevin, you've had a terrific year as champion, the reigning 2001 champion, but yesterday, as you say, was just a day from you-know-where.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it just, no matter what you do, things just don't go your way, and you just can't get in the right groove. You can't figure out what the fish are doing and you know, get a pattern to run with, and that's the way my day was yesterday. I don't really have any excuses other than I just was zigging when they were zagging.
Well, everything that happened out there, I guess, happens, you know, for a reason. Let's take a look at some of the action out there on the lake. What were you trying to do? What was your plan?
Well, I wanted to start out the morning swimming a jig and throwing the top water around that grass to catch, you know, a few quality largemouths, and then I planned on fishing deep. You know, I was kind of counting on a little bit of water moving and throwing a crankbait and a finesse worm and a big spinnerbait, you know, just structure fishing and catch some good spots and some big largemouths doing that. I had a pretty darn good practice. The other day when we got a few hours, I got a lot of bites. Just yesterday I couldn't put it together.
There's nothing worse than on the first day of the Bassmasters Classic, you stub your toe and don't catch them. Just, you work so hard all year long to get here, and you know, I was so confident going into today, and I mean, they just beat me up.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. Kevin's going to weigh him in just a few minutes here, Ron. We'll see if he has enough to make it through until tomorrow. We're going to see how Tommy Martin does coming up next.
Folks, your 1974 Bassmasters Classic champ, please welcome Tommy Martin. Uh-oh, Mr. Martin, go in that live well and bring them to me. He is in the cut currently with a great catch yesterday. And let's see what he has. Yesterday, 11-15. Today looks pretty close to that. Tommy, are there 5?
Yeah, I got 5.
And how do they look?
Well, they don't look as good as they did yesterday, fish. They're not as big. They're They're smaller fish. It was tougher today. It was just a real struggle to catch fish today for me. Let me see what these weigh here.
I want to know the techniques that you're using out there, and I want to find out if you think that's going to work again tomorrow. Several of the anglers are starting to find little patterns that are working late in the day, and we had a couple of our leaders up here talking about individual techniques seem to be working early as opposed to later in the afternoon, and they're saying that they're not pulling the water the way that the schedule says they are.
Well, I can agree with that.
The weight is 7 pounds and 12 ounces.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointed that. I've been getting a chance at, 2 or 3, 4 big fish every day. When I say big fish, I'm talking about those 2.5 to 3.5 pounders. But I didn't get it today. I had to struggle real hard. I covered a lot of water. I'm not fishing places or holes or anything. I'm just covering a lot of water, running a pattern, using about 3 different lures. I'm flipping and pitching some, I'm cranking some, and I'm using a buzz bait and a top water plug some. But I'm just covering a lot of water. I thought that strategy would probably be wise because, especially on the second and third day of the Classic, if you're hole fishing or if you're fishing specific spots, sometimes the traffic can really wear you out and just take you out of the game. So I figured if I could just run a pattern and cover a lot of shallow water and catch my fish that way, I'd probably be better off and I wouldn't be bothered as much. And that part of it's worked out, Fish.
We're watching you right here on this great footage that ESPN2 captured during your day's fishing. And it looks like you did a great job. One more day of competition.
He just barely hooked. I was really lucky to get this fish. Thank God for these good triple grip hooks. I'll tell you, I wouldn't have got him.
Oh, Tommy. Can you do it tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. It's like I said, it's a struggle. I'm I'm excited about it. I'm just glad. I hope I get to fish again tomorrow. It looks like I will. But, some of the guys are catching some bigger fish right now, and they may break it wide open today. It may be impossible to win this event, but I'm just excited to be here as usual. I appreciate all these fishing fans coming out to be with us. They make it great, just them showing up to support the fishermen and stuff. And appreciate all the sponsors of Bass. Appreciate all my sponsors, and I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you, Tommy Martin. Best of luck on day 3.
So for Tommy Martin, 4th place, 19.7 is his total. And about to come to the stage is a gentleman who is fishing in his 20th Classic. And he has been Angler of the Year twice. Let's take a closer look at Gary Klein. Gary Klein went straight from high school to professional angling and has never held another job. He borrowed a boat to win his first Bassmaster tournament in 1979 in Arizona's Lake Powell. That same year, the California native used a new Western-born technique called flipping to qualify for the Bassmasters Classic. He ranked 7th in career wins, and twice he's been Angler of the Year.
I'm persistent.
Roll that next boat in, if you would, please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Weatherford, Texas, Gary Klein. Gary Klein. Show us some bass, my man. I know you had a tough day on yesterday.
Hey, I've been having a good time running up and down the lake in my Triton with that new Mercury Optimax on the back of it. Again, I've really focused on spots. I got a couple nice spots in there today, but I just didn't get enough of them. Those are the only 3 keeper hits I had today.
You brought me about 3.7 yesterday, and the weight today with spots, and I know you have learned the techniques, the best ones to catch those bass deep. 5 pounds, 9 ounces. Did you use some stuff that you learned in California years ago?
I've tried everything since I've been here the last few days. That's one of the problems. We're really fishing with a small amount or limited amount of time on the water, and you really can't get wrapped up in trying to do too many things. So I tried to stay focused and made some adjustments. I think here in the video they're showing me this is the big adjustment I made this morning. It's the first fish that hit me, and I thought I was doing the right thing. That was the only fish that I caught on top water, so it just wasn't my turn.
Be a bass, don't be a white.
Well, Gary, we're seeing you right here. Tell me a little bit about this specific situation.
Well, I was actually fishing the front end of some pilings, and in the morning early there's been some fish breaking on them, just shad, and I just happened to catch this fish here. I didn't fish that area yesterday, and I really thought that I made a mistake by not, so I started on this morning.
Are there lots of schooling fish on the lake right now?
It's kind of limited, at least in the areas that I've been fishing. Yeah, there's a lot of activity, but most of them aren't bass.
There's some big fish coming out of Lay Lake, and we go back to 1996 when George Cochran won this thing. Is the lake fishing the same?
I did about the same here that, that I did in 96. But no, obviously, just take a look at the weights. George Cochran's 3-day total was 31.14. The fish is the lake is a great fishery. It's got a tremendous amount of fish in it. And I think it's fishing better this year than it did last time.
Gary Klein with a great catch on day 2.
So tough tournament for Gary Klein, 9 pounds for him. Let's look at Tommy Martin and give us a map tech on him.
Okay, well, I tell you what, when you look at our 3D image right off the bat, you can tell why these spotted bass love this so much. You know, you see the big drop-offs there in the channel, a lot of bluffy banks. We are at Tommy Martin's spot right here, which is right where Bully Creek comes out and runs into that bluffy bank that we're talking about. Now, most of the time, Tommy is fishing for largemouth, but I think that he might be running out of fish up in that area. I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
So, Jerry, we still look for the best 25 who will fish for the championship tomorrow. This is the way they stand right now. Jay Ellis on top with a huge lead at 35-2. Larry Nixon, 17-7. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Birmingham, and who's on the bubble? Well, here's the top 10 right now. Jay Ellis, 35-2. David Walker in second place. Larry Nixon in with a good, solid effort today. Terry Scoggins in 10th place, 17-1. Now, who is on the bubble? These are the guys that could be in trouble. 2 of them have not weighed in yet, but Rook and Price and also Danny Correa, he is there at 12-13. So let's go back to the stage and fish Fishburne. Fish.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Sam Rayburn, Texas, Bud Pruitt. Bud, here we go, man. You had the biggest string back in 1996. I don't see a huge group of bass, but I see plenty.
Well, I've got 5 today, fish. This has been a tough nut to crack out here for me this time, and I can't get that weed bite going.
Let's check a weight for Bud Pruitt. He needed, there's 6 pounds and 8 ounces, 6'8". Looks like you'll be fishing with us tomorrow.
Well, that's great. I'd like to think that I could go out and try to catch a big stringer again the last day, so at least I'll have the opportunity to try. So.
I want to take a look at you fishing. Right there, you caught one. What'd you get him on?
I was catching on the crankbait right here.
Oh, there's one.
Come on, baby, stay on this time. Little rascal. Little crazy spot. Yeah. I can't believe that. Oh, that sucker's in my chest. Oh, I got a treble hook in my chest. Man, I caught myself. We're going in, folks. Dang, that's the toughest hook I've ever seen in my life. Thank you. Come on, Bud Pruitt. What are you doing? That's just an average day on the water for me. Just, you know, there's always something crazy going on my boat. So.
Now, why didn't you have the guy help you get it out of you?
He was looking a little pale when he saw the thing. But you know, he stung a little.
The spots that you're fishing, Bud, is it one major place, or have you got several different little areas?
Well, you know, you fish out here for 6 days, and everything I found in 6 days has all been narrowed down to one tiny little spot. So everything I've caught in the last 2 days has come off a little small channel bend that's got about a 5-foot lip, and it drops from 5 to 10, and I'm catching them on a crankbait right there. And
all right, Bud. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow, and watch yourself.
Thanks, Viz.
There you go, Bud Pruitt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Prosperity, South Carolina, Mr. Davey Hyde. Davey Hyde, your 2002 Angler of the Year. Look at this. How many are there?
It's only 3 fish.
3 bass today for the Angler of the Year, the most prestigious title in bass fishing for working hard throughout the year. And you're back in another Bassmasters Classic. He won a Classic with us. And we're going to get a weight of 4 pounds and 12 ounces. Tell me about the day.
Well, I'm disappointed in that, obviously. But, you know, I had a great time out there. I had a lot of people follow me, and they were great. You know, it was just a good day to be on the water. When I finished second here in 96, I only had 3 on the second day and had a good bag the next day. Look forward to doing that tomorrow, and hope everybody comes out and cheer me on the water. About time, ain't it? Hey! Woo! Good to break ice, that's for sure. Maybe the helicopter brought me good luck.
Go. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing right here, Davey.
Well, I was flipping some real thick cover there, fish. After the sun came up today, yesterday I had a limit early, and that didn't work out today. And after the sun came up, I started going in that thicker cover and had a few bites, lost a couple, and caught a couple. But, you know, I'm really going to go try to catch a big bag tomorrow. I think it can definitely happen on Lay Lake. And the good thing about it this year, I had a strong finish in three of the events. Had a big bag last day. I hope to do that tomorrow.
You finished second here back in 1996, right behind George Cochran. We can see a 20-pound bag out of Lake.
Somebody's going to have it tomorrow to even come close to winning this thing, that's for sure, because there's been a lot of big bags each day. I'm looking forward to trying, and I'll have that trident running up and down the lake looking.
Any specialty lures that you can share with us right now?
I'm flipping a Gambler paddle-tail worm on different size weights, but the 5-inch paddle-tail worms will be my best bet.
Best of luck to you, Davey Hyde.
Thank you, fish. Thank you.
Oh, there he goes, your Angler of the Year.
So height with 17-12, and Jerry, let's go to Matt Tech and talk about where he's fishing.
You know what? He is fishing in the Sally branch, and I want to talk about the current more than the branch. There could be a fish back here in the grass like he was catching, and maybe some shad right out here. Well, if this is dead, no current, it's really tough to get it going. When that current starts out of here, these shad break up, they move back into this grass, and suddenly Davey Hyde gets in the business. Everything depends on the current. It is so important here.
So let's take a look at the leaderboard as we search for the best 25 who will fish for the championship tomorrow. Yellow's 35-2. Walker is next. Tommy Martin at 19-7, and Larry Nixon at 17-7. Who is on the bubble? We'll find out who number 26 is later on. Coming up next, the Federation champion, Ken Chris. How did he do today? He held his own yesterday. More to come from Birmingham after this. Welcome back to the Cisco Bassmasters Classic, day number 2. We're looking for the best 25 fishermen. And a reminder, a program note, tomorrow night it will be ESPN for the final weigh-in, and it'll be in prime time, 7 o'clock Eastern, for tomorrow's final to see who wins the $200,000 first prize money. Let me show you a cheering section here in the arena, and this is for a guy who's an amateur, but he won the Federation, which is an extremely difficult thing to do. He's about to come into the arena, Ken Chris, and there's Nikki, his wife, who I know is just beaming with pride over what he's done. Let's go down to the stage, and here's Fish Fishford.
Folks, let's have a warm welcome for Lincoln, Nebraska, Ken Chris. Ken, you were in the top 5 yesterday. You won the Federation Championship in Shreveport, Louisiana earlier this year to represent all of the fine Federation anglers we have in the event. We're going to the scales with a 5-fish limit. And we see Ken Christ, who also competed in the Great Outdoor Games, 10 pounds, 2 ounces, 10-2, Ken.
That's super. I only thought I had about 8 pounds fish.
Now, what's it like having the ESPN2 guys out there chasing you around the boats and the helicopters?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. The helicopter made some terrible wakes for me today when I was trying to fish, but other than that, it was everybody was respected everything. It was great.
And you had a bunch of spectator boats running along?
Oh, I had a few, not a bunch. I'm not quite as high profile as a lot of these guys are. I had a few, but everybody kept their distance. That was super.
I'm going to watch you fish here.
This is the grand excitement here, if you will. This is incredible. Just to have the opportunity should have been enough. Now we're gonna have some fun today.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing right here.
I was just throwing a little top water. This is the first place I stopped today. Just working a little bit of that weed bank. It's a pretty good drop up in about 10 feet of water there. I wrestled this fish for quite a while trying to get him up.
Almost, or most of these spots are largemouth.
This is largemouth. What I usually catch has been spots.
This lake is full of those spotted bass, and most of them, are they being caught offshore this week, or are they catching them around the grass as well?
Well, my top water has been close to the shore. Everything else I'm fishing is pretty much out in the open water.
You have enough places to go out there and win this thing tomorrow?
I believe I'm not about winning it. I don't think I'll catch Jay, but I'll give it a shot.
Ken, great job. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Ken Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go right now to yesterday's leader. I'm kidding you. He was in second place. Welcome, Aaron Martin. I saw you over in the press conference yesterday. You had a lot of confidence.
Oh, yeah, I was catching them good.
How many bass did you actually catch today?
I only caught like 7 keepers today.
7? All right. Were you drop shotting at all?
No, they're all reaction fish.
All reaction fish. I know I'm not going to get any more information than that. Let's see if we can get you definitely fishing in our top 25 tomorrow. And you saw Jay Yellis come in with a huge creel again today. I know you had the ESPN2 camera boats with you.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of spectators, too.
Let's get a weight of 11 pounds and 2 ounces. 11-2. Puts you right there in striking range.
Yeah, I still have a chance if Jay stumbles. We'll have to see. I don't think Jay will stumble. Jay's a good fisherman. He's on some really good fish. We're together, so... Yeah, I lost like 20 bites today. I had probably 4 or 5 3-pound fish.
Got nobody's fishing, I know. And, those are for Saturday when it's real bad.
Oh my gosh, there's a big one left. Oh, I just missed one. That's a 3-pounder, at least 3.5. That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one to get. Again, that's a nice keeper. Boy, he's been hit before, so catch and release. Catch and release does work. I mean, he's been thrashed, but I caught him. Somebody else let him go. Big fish, man. Nice.
All right, Aaron, right here, tell me what you're throwing.
I'm throwing a hair jig.
A hair jig. Is anybody else in the competition using that lure?
I think there's a few guys throwing them. Yeah, I lost the good one. I only had one of the ones I was throwing right there. I lost that jig a little after I caught that fish. And oh, thank you, Lord. There's a reason for everything. I had the worst day of my life, and it turned to a pretty decent day. There's a reason for everything, and gotta be. That's almost a 2-pounder.
Okay, you only caught 7 today. We have one more day of competition. Do you have some spots that are untapped?
Yeah, I got some spots I can go to. I think the water got a little turned up today. It was a little dirtier, and I had 4 or 5 2.5 to 3.5 pound fish come off. I had them hooked good, and they were getting on the outside of the mouth a lot. I couldn't see the bait good. The water is about half as clear as it has been, and the spectator boats turned it up pretty good.
Did you throw any of those giant California lures, those swim baits?
Yeah, I was catching them on that too, but the fishing has to be really good for that. It has to be no boats around, good bite. You know, they eat them pretty good, but not in these conditions.
Aaron, best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Fish.
There you go. Aaron Martin's going to be close, I'm telling you.
All right, everyone, Kevin Van Dam just now eliminated. I tell you what, again, you've been a great champion all year long. Nothing's harder than defending, though, is it?
It is. It's tough, and you know, I went out there and did my best today, and it just, I knew I was one fish short. I really tried to catch that one big one, and it just didn't happen.
Well, all right, we know you'll be here on hand tomorrow to present the new champion with his prize, and what a great year you've had. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thanks, Tommy.
All right, back to you, Ron, for the scoreboard.
All righty, so we're looking for the best 25. The defending champion is not going to fish tomorrow. It's tough. Wu Davis finished 33rd his next year. 42nd place for Davey Height after he won in New Orleans. It's not an easy thing. There's so much pressure.
Oh, and I tell you what, I'm really concerned about Jay. He'll have his hands full tomorrow. He has such a big lead, but he's got a lot of competitors. May not have the current that he normally does, but boy, he's got an outstanding lead, doesn't he?
Well, Rick Clunn came from 10 pounds back into St. James in 1990. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We'll take a break. Yellis on top, leading by almost 10. Yamamoto in 5th place, and Hardy Tolkeska is on the bubble.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
So here are the 25 that will fish for the championship. Jay Ellis on top, followed by David Walker. Yamamoto was in 5th, and Bud Pruitt in the number 10 spot. The second 10, Davey Height. Mark Davis is 15, David Wharton 19, Robert Lee 20, and the final 5 to make it, that's Hardy Tolkeska, who is from Alpena, Michigan. He bumped the defending champion by 1. And speaking of the defending champion, the notables who did not make it, Van Dam, Roland Martin in 30th place, Wu Daves, Gary Klein also did not make the championship. Well, the gentleman who is setting the pace, kind of like Lance Armstrong here at the Bassmasters Classic, Jay Ellis. You were being frustrated until about 10:30 this morning. Then things broke open.
That's right, Ron. Just like the first day, I'm fishing way up Lay Lake, up the river, and they turn the water on. They start generating water about 10 o'clock every morning. The bite's slow in the morning. The water comes on at about 10, and boy, they really start biting in the afternoon as that water rises.
Jay, will you fish defensively tomorrow?
I'm going to fish the same way that I fished the last 2 days. I'm fishing a Berkeley Frenzy crankbait early in the morning when the water's off, and when they turn the water on and there's current moving, I pick up that Berkeley power jig, go to the shallow shoreline cover, and pitch it around the wood.
You could have a day tomorrow where they turn no water on.
I could. Really, my success is at the mercy of the Alabama Power Company. Really, because if all my big bites are coming when that water's generating in the afternoon.
Boy, I admire his patience.
Hey, thanks for coming by. Best of luck tomorrow. Our fishermen up to date have caught 737 pounds of fish. One final note, Kevin Van Dam, even tougher that he was the man on the bubble and misses it by 1 ounce to fish tomorrow.
Hey, how would you like to fish against him and Clunn next year? Will they have some fire in their eye?
With the vengeance, yes. So, Day 2 of the Citgo Bassmasters Classic comes to an end, and it's Jay Ellis in the lead with a total of 35 pounds and 2 ounces. Only one more day left to see if Jay can stay atop the leaderboard, or can one of the 24 remaining anglers make the catch of his life to become the 2002 Bassmasters Classic champion. Our coverage of the final weigh-in for the Great Fishing Championship continues tomorrow on ESPN, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And by the way, ESPN Outdoors will have live updates all day long, starting at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So for Jerry McKennis and Tommy Sanders, Ron Franklin saying thanks for joining us, and so long from Birmingham for the 2002 Citgo Bassmasters Classic Championship.